Welcome back to the pregame. Time now for our talk with Coach Butch Pedersen, brought to you by Main Street Suites. And Coach, another year back at it here. It feels good to get back out on the field and hear some of these pads popping here with these guys.
Oh, there's no question about it. I really am impressed with the attitude of this group. They're very young. We have 30 fresh soft kids and 15 upperclassmen, so I'm real disappointed in some of the upperclassmen numbers. But, you know, if you don't want to play football and you don't really have your heart, you shouldn't be out there. And the kids that we have should be out there, and they're going to give us a great effort this year.
Well, I was mentioning a little bit this past year and a half, just with everything going on in the world, feels like a whirlwind. I said last year's just kind of a blur, just because you're so focused on one day at a time. Talk a little bit about how this can, football especially, but sports, high school athletics, can just help these kids really feel some sort of normalcy and just be able to focus on being kids and having fun out here.
You know, that's one of the keys. Last year, we couldn't do a lot of things that we wanted to do, and unfortunately this year the same thing happened. We have a lot of construction issues. We couldn't get on our practice field. We had no electricity. We had a variety of things that we just weren't allowed to do because of a lot of things that had happening. And these kids didn't care. They were resilient. The coaches were resilient. We played through it. It was what it was. And we've accomplished a lot, and we've improved a lot.
Well, speaking of improvement, let's take a look just a little bit at what we're going to see here tonight out on the field. Obviously going to be breaking in a new quarterback with Carver Belk. Talk a little bit about what he's bringing to the team here tonight.
Well, he's a really speedy back. He can throw the football a lot better than we thought he could. He's a threat to throw the ball. And so we can do a lot of things with our offense. We can be diversified. And he learns, and he's hungry. He's went to a lot of camps. He's done all the extra things that a quarterback needs to do. And I'm extremely impressed with Carver at this stage.
Well, it helps when you've got some experienced and some talented guys at that back and receiver spot. Talk about that position group and kind of what they can do to really help this team get over the hump and be able to do some good things this year.
Well, I think having Andy Hinson back is a real big start. I mean, he had almost 900 yards last year as a sophomore. He's a good running back, and we have a variety of other people. Our receiving core, I think, is just as strong, if not stronger, than last year. I think Peyton Miller is going to be one of the best receivers around the area, and we have some young kids that are still learning the game that are going to have a great career at West Branch too, as long as they keep working at it.
Well, of course, we like to say the skill position, the five big guys up front, that offensive line, replacing three of those starters for sure. Talk about that group and kind of where they're at in that process to become one cohesive unit at this point.
Jason Peterson's done a great job. He's fought through some adversity, obviously, as we all know, and he feels it's really good to be with the kids, and I really believe him. He's really meshed that group together. They went to a lineman camp this summer down in Mount Pleasant, and that head coach down there was on my Shrine Bowl staff, and he does a good job with the offensive line, and Jason took him down there, and the coach called me when we left and said that the kids looked very well, and they looked very hungry, and they went after people, and they're also very coachable, and I think that's going to be the key this year. Are we going to be coachable? Are we going to be able to bounce back from adversity, and we're going to continue to grow as not only a player but also as a team?
Now, of course, defensive side of the ball, especially early on, is going to be vitally important all year, of course. But over there, you've got some experience in a few spots coming back. What are you expecting from this group?
Well, I think we're going to run to the football very well. They seem to be a harder hitting team than we've had the last couple of years. They really get after the ball well. Our pass coverage is a lot better than what it was the last couple of years. And I just think that we have a great upside as far as the defense is concerned. Tyler Bailey's done a great job. Mr. Suckamil, Mr. Braddock, Chatty Boy, the whole show's over there working hard. Jason at the defensive line. And I'm real impressed right now with our defense. And I think you're right. I think we're going to have to take care of the ball and not allow a lot of points to start with while the offense gets their feet on the floor. And when that happens, I think we're going to be pretty dynamic.
Well, and then, of course, that third phase, special teams. And obviously, right away, you think Cale Federlin. He was kind of Mr. Automatic the last couple of years. He's now graduated, moved off a few hours to the west. What are we going to see from that kicking game this year?
Wyatt Federlin. And he's a good kicker. He probably kicks the ball deeper on kickoffs than Cale did. He's very accurate on extra points. I think that he's going to have a great career, not only as a linebacker here, but also as a kicker. And he too wants to work hard and get better. And the holder will probably be, I'm not sure exactly who the holder will be, but I think it'll be Aiden Shields at this point. and that's an important position as well, and Aiden's done a good job learning how to do that.
Okay, well, it starts off here tonight. You take on Lisbon, top 5 team in Class A. They've got a lot of experience coming back. Give us your quick scouting report on what you're expecting from them.
Well, they're extremely fast. I think they're runner-up last year in the state track meet. They're runner-up in the wrestling tournament. They got great athletes, and if you overlook Lisbon, you're going to be a fool because they're very, very good. And they are ranked 4th. Out of our 8 games, 5 of the opponents that we play are ranked. I've never in my coaching career had a harder schedule other than when we used to play in the Eastern Iowa Hawkeye. This is by far the hardest district schedule we've ever had. And then they threw Waterloo, Columbus at us as well, and they're ranked like 2nd in 1A as well. So we have some tough opponents, but, it is what it is. That's the schedule that the state decided to give to West Branch. And we're going to fight hard and try to prove some people wrong as far as how good we're going to be.
We're looking forward to see how that plays out here this year, Coach. Thanks very much for joining us.
All right, thank you.
That's our talk with Coach Pedersen, presented by Main Street Suites. We'll be back with more of the pregame right after this. This is the Bearcast at westbranch.football.